Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Happy Friday. If you're watching this today when I'm playing it, it is Friday. I believe the date is October the 17th, if I'm not mistaken. 2 weeks away from Halloween, if you're into that kind of thing. It is October the 17th. And we're at the final game of the May 27th date. It is the Milwaukee Brewers taking on the Minnesota Twins. Hello there, game player. Good to see you. Yep, any day is a good day for PTO, in my opinion. When I was working, any day would be a good day for PTO. All right, so we got Frank Viola and Bill Wegman. Wegman was 12-11 with a 4.24 ERA real world. Viola 17-10 with a 2.90 ERA. In the replay, Viola is 5-2 and Wegman's 4-1. And of course, two good teams. Brewers 26-14, trying to win to get back into first place or tie for first place in the East. And Minnesota at 22-22, just a couple games back from Oakland, trying to put pressure on the A's and the White Sox and the Royals to all get that race very close as well. So Frank Viola will be finishing the warm-up tosses. We are at the Metrodome, hitter's paradise. Singles are 1-16 left, 1-13 right, and home runs are 11 across the board. Viola does have a -5 hold rating, so it's going to maybe deter some Brewer guys from trying to steal. We can never be sure. You never know how that works out. But Frank Viola is your starter. He is 5-2 on the replay with a 2.09 earned run average, 82 innings pitched, only 50 hits allowed, 25 walks, and 56 strikeouts. So incredible numbers on the replay for Frank Viola. Wonder how he lost 2 games with those kind of numbers. Obviously, lack of run support. Good morning, Kathy. And yes, I do have the mandatory equipment. Got to have it. All right. So Mike Felder will lead off for the Brewers, left fielder. He was a recent call-up, so he's only had 8 at-bats. He's 1 for 8 for a 125 average. But not much to go on with just 8 at-bats. And we're underway on this Friday. And happy Friday to everybody. 5-11 against the switch hitter batting right-handed. That's a ballpark blast right off the bat. 1-11. That's a 2. But Felder has weak power against lefties and righties. He hit 2 home runs in the season, but he has to get them off his own card. That's the only way he's going to get them. He's not going to get them off the pitcher card. So, but it will be a single. So Mike Felder does get the base hit, but he won't get the home run. And now, if you play advanced strat, you know that AA is a really good stealing chance. So he needs a 6 or an 8 to get the lead. We'll see if he can obtain that. He does. 6 through 8, that's a 7, so he gets the lead. 19 being held as a 17, and then the -5 is a 12. So 1-12 for Felder, 60% chance to steal it. And he's in there. It's also a possible throwing error on Laudner. His T rating is an 8. And he's not going to throw it away, but it will be a stolen base for Felder. So Felder not deterred by that -5 hold. He steals the base anyway. And he's at second base with nobody out. And here comes Hall of Famer Robin Yount. He's hitting .325 on the replay, 9 homers, 34 driven in. He hit .312 real world. Viola trying to get out of early trouble. 3-7. Well, strikeout's a way to do it. That'll certainly help. He strikes out Robin Yount. 1 down, and that brings up the designated hitter Cecil Cooper. Odd that they would have a lefty like Cecil Cooper hit against Viola so early in the lineup in a power spot, but that's the way Tom Trebelhorn did it, so that's the way we play it. Cooper on the replay hitting .224, 5 homers, 14 driven in. He at .248 real world. Lefty on lefty matchup, 2-6, and that's a ground ball to second. That will get Felder to third, but now there are 2 outs. And it's going to be all up to Rob Deere. Hey, Chuck, good to see you. All right, so Rob Deere in a clutch situation. In the clutch against lefties, Rob Deere is completely neutral. On the replays, hitting 244, 6 homers, 22 driven in. He hit 238 real world. So Deer against Viola, 4-9, and that's a base on balls, so that keeps the inning going for Paul Molitor. Deer, well, actually, he is a threat to run, but against the -5 of Viola, and with Molitor coming up, you don't want to take the bat out of his hands, so they'll hold Deer on, but he's not going to go anywhere. And here's Molitor. He's hitting three. Can I read this right? My computer screen is not. He's hitting 398 on the replay, 6 homers and 24 driven in. He hit 353 real world. So Viola, another clutch situation. This one for Molitor, he gains a hit on a 1-4. Everywhere else he's neutral. And that's a 1-5. He just missed it. But a 1-5 is still going to do him pretty good. One's a home run, other is a double. It's a double to center field. Don't know if Deer will be able to score from first because Puckett does have the -4 arm. So we'll take a look at the numbers here. He's a 12, not being held. I mean, he was being held, so it makes him an 11. 2 outs makes him a 13, but then the -4 makes him a 9. It'd be a 1-9. I think they're going to. I think that they're better off to hold him there. So it's an RBI double for Paul Molitor. Runners now at second and third, and first baseman Jim Paciorek. He's in there giving Greg Brock the game off against a left-hander. So Jim Paciorek is on. Paciorek is only hitting. Well, he's hitting 324, only in 37 at bats. A homer, 7 driven in. Real world, he only hit 238. But 67% of his at-bats came against left-handed pitching. He was truly a platoon player. And that's what Treble Horn and the Brewers have him doing right here, giving Brock the game off against the left-hander Viola. That's a 3-8, and that's going to be a ground ball to short that ends the inning. So just the one run, and actually Viola giving up a single, double, and a walk, only allowing the one run is actually a pretty good deal for him. He gets out of it relatively unscathed. So we go to the bottom of the first. It is Brewers 1 and the Twins coming to bat, and Bill Wegman, who was 12-11 with a 4.24 in real world. On the replay, he is 4-1. His ERA is 3.50, 64 innings pitched, 61 hits, 14 walks, and 30 strikeouts. And Dan Gladden. Hello, Tribe fan. Good to see you. Dan Gladden is going to lead off. Gladden hitting 248 on the replay. 3 homers, 11 runs driven in. He hit 249 real world. 5-11, and that's a ground ball pitcher X to Wegman. Wegman is a 3 E13. See if he can make the play. 3-17. Devil Dive cooperates early on, so he'll get there. And that is a total of 13, and he is an E13. So a 13 and a 13, and that's going to be an error right there on Wegman. E13 under a pitcher, 11, 13, and 17 are errors. That's a 13. And there you go. E1 on Bill Wegman. He's his own worst enemy. That puts a fast runner on base. Wegman is a 0. He's a -1 hold, but Schroeder's a +1, so net 0. So Gladden needs a 4, 5, or 6 to get the lead. Does not get it. He will hold. And here is Greg Gagne. Gagne is an A bunter, so they will go ahead and have him bunt. I'll use the Jeffrey Gudeman method and say the 5. They're going to catch him off guard, so he will be an A bunter. The Twins or the Brewers don't really expect this out of the Twins with the Homer Dome and everything. They're going to let Gagne bunt. So first of all, roll havoc. Make sure nothing's going on there. It's not. That's a 2. It's going right back to Wegman. So we're in column A. So anything 10 or less pretty much is a good deal. And Jeff's ears must have been burning. I just talked about him. So it's good sacrifice. It's going to go, sacrifice hit is going to go 1-4. Actually 1-3 because the corner was not in. So it's 1-3. Gladden will take second base. And actually, if you're the Brewers, you probably almost don't mind that because that's an extra out that the Twins don't have. So, and in the Metrodome, get as many outs as you can get. All right. And Jeff, obviously, still have my hot coffee here ready to go. And that is good coffee. All right, here is Kirby Puckett. On the replay, he's hitting 339, 7 homers, 23 driven in. He hit 332 real world. Nothing on the Havoc. Puckett against Wegman. 212, and that's a ground ball pitcher A, so the runner is going to have to freeze there at second base. And now, by bunting like that, now you put the pressure on Kent Hrbek to get it done. Kent Hrbek on the replay hitting 314, 11 homers, 35 driven in. On the real season, he hit 285 with 34 home runs. Wegman to Hrbek in a clutch situation. Hrbek is actually going to get one hit extra on a 112. Everything else he's neutral. That's a 2-5, but that's a good place for Hrbek to be. 1-14 is a home run. The Devil dies at 2. That's gone. Kent Hrbek, a big blast. And the Twins take a 2-1 lead here in the first inning on Kent Hrbek's 12th home run of the replay. RBIs 36 and 37. He had 34 homers real world. That's his 12th. Unearned run scores on Gladden. So the E1 on Wegman set up this whole inning. Hrbek would have never batted otherwise. But it extended the inning, and they paid the price for it. So here's Gary Gaetti, third baseman. He's hitting 219 on the replay, kind of struggling a bit. 8 homers, 34 driven in. He at 257 real world. 6-9, and that's a single to right field, so they're getting to Wegman pretty early. Thought we'd get a pitcher's duel, but we're getting some runs here. Of course, the Metrodome hasn't come into full effect on that yet, but it could very well. Here's Roy Smalley, the designated hitter. Smalley hitting 276 on the replay, a homer and 14 driven in, and he hit 275 real world. Switch hitter batting left, 1-5, and that's a 1-4 home run, and that's gone. The Devil Die shows up again. Look at that, 1-4 on the 1-5. It's a 1-4 against right-handers for home runs. Devil Dies a 3. Roy Smalley goes deep, a 2-run shot for Smalley. And the Twins have their hitting shoes on. For Smalley, that is home run number 2, RBIs 15 and 16 on the replay. And the Twins have a 4-score inning going on right now. Smalley hit 8 home runs real world. That's his second of the replay. And it's 4-1 Minnesota, as they are jumping all over Bill Wegman, thanks not to the Metrodome, but thanks to the Devil Die. That's what's really causing it. All right, here's Bernansky. He is hitting 297 on the replay, 7 homers, 19 driven in. He hit 258 real world. That's a 1-9, and that's a walk, so the inning will continue, and Wegman just can't get out of his own way. Again, all these runs are unearned because of that initial error that started the whole mess. Bernansky could see if he wants to get the lead here, but it wouldn't be a very good chance, I don't think, so they'll hold him there. And here's Steve Lombardozzi. Lombardozzi hitting 305 on the replay. Has been tearing it up. 2 homers, 15 driven in. He only hit 238 real world. But he's been off to a hot start. And they got Wegman on the ropes. 5-4 is a fly ball center field X. That's Robin Yount. He's a 2E6. So unless the Devil Die really is painful, he should make this catch. 2 and an 8 should be good enough to get there. 2 and an 8 is going to be an F2. That's a 7, and he is an E6. That shouldn't be a problem. It is not. So Yount does make the catch, but the Twins send 8 to the plate, and Abraham Lincoln 4-score inning. And at the end of 1 complete, it is Minnesota 4 and Milwaukee 1. And Wegman will go back to the dugout and try to regroup for the next inning. All of a sudden, Frank Viola energized by those 4 runs. And he'll start the top of the second. We do have an emoji trivia in the top of the third, so be ready for that. Top of the second, Bill Schroeder. He's hitting 221 on the replay, a homer and 10 driven in, and just 68 at bats. He hit 332 real world. 5-6, and that's a strikeout for Viola. His second. And like I said, those 4 runs may have just given him a boost. Here's Dale Swain, the shortstop. 321 on the replay, 9 homers, 28 driven in. He hit 252 real world. It's 2-4 against the lefty. That's a ground ball to short. Gagne will take care of it. 2 up, 2 down. That's what you need to do when a team scores you a bunch of runs, is coming out with a shutdown inning, and not give the other team hope. Here's Juan Castillo, second baseman, giving Jim Gantner a game off against the lefty. Castillo hitting .213, no homers, 8 driven in. He hit .224 real world. 4-3, switch hitter, batting right-handed. Ground ball first base X. We're looking at Herbeck. He's a 2-6. 2 and an 8 shouldn't be an issue. 2 and an 8 is not an issue. That is a 13, and he is an E6. That shouldn't be an issue either. It is an issue. I take it back. E6, a 13, right smack dab in the middle of the error column. Right smack dab in the middle of the error column, a 13. And so that will be an E3 on Kent Herbeck. Normally a good fielder, but just not this time. So Castillo is aboard. Against that -5 and down 4-1, they're not going to try to steal. So it'll be Felder due up. Single, stole a base, and scored his first time up. 4-5, and that's going to be a double, 1-17. That's a 20, though, so it's going to be a single, but it's still 2 stars either way you go. Puts runners on the corners with 2 outs. And all of a sudden, a 2-out rally coming on the Brewers because of the error on Kent Herbeck. So it's a case where another error has extended the inning. And now Robin Yount has a chance in a clutch situation. And again, Robin Yount in the clutch is completely neutral. 2-5, but he's going to get a base hit, single to left field. That'll score Castillo, rather. Felder will stop at second with the ball going to left field. So he'll stay there, but the Brewers get a run that they shouldn't have gotten. But it doesn't matter. They get it anyway. It counts. It's 4-2 now. And that brings up Cecil Cooper. Hello, Colin. Good to see you. Cooper grounded to second his first time up. 2-11, and that's a ballpark single check. That's not good for Viola. That's a 16. That's a base hit. But it's only 1 star, though, so it's going to load the bases for Rob Deere, who was either going to strike out or hit a grand slam home run, apparently. Look at his column 1. He's got a whole bunch of strikeouts there, but he does have 3 ballpark blasts in the very friendly Metrodome. So anything is liable to happen. 3-8, and he gets a walk. He walks in a run. Does Viola, an RBI walk for Rob Deere. Felder trots in, cuts the lead to 4-3. And again, all these runs are unearned because of the Herbeck error, causing the pitcher to work harder and extend the inning. And now here's Paul Molitor. Chance for the Brewers now with a base hit. They could take the lead. .410, and that's a ballpark single check, 1-13, and that's a base hit for Molitor. They'll score another run to tie the game at 4. So they're getting nickeled and dimed, but they're adding up. And again, it all goes back to that error on Kent Herbeck. We are now tied at 4. And who'd have thunk that with this pitching matchup? I didn't think we'd have 8 runs already in an inning and a half. Here's Pashorek, the 9th man to bat in the inning. That's a 2. We're looking at the balk chance of Viola, which is a 2. His balk rating's a 2. Wild pitch is a 1. So he does not balk. So Pashorek will stand in. Bases loaded, 2 outs. 2-10, and that's going to be a line out to third. He hit it hard, but right to Gaetti. And the inning is over. But we are tied at 4-4 as we go to the bottom of the second. And this could be a bullpen game the way this is going, because both pitchers are getting knocked around quite a bit. In an inning and a half, we have 8 runs and 9 hits and 2 errors. All right, I drank the coffee again because it's getting cold. All right, don't forget the top of the inning, we have a trivia emoji trivia from Kathy. We got to get there first. It's taken a while to get there. as both teams seem to want to keep hitting. Here's Tim Lautner. He's hitting 259 on the replay, 5 homers, 13 driven in. He only hit a .191 real world. That's a 1-8, and he will ground to short, where Swain will make the play. One away, back to the top of the order for Gladden. 3-6 for Gladden. He grounds to short. So back-to-back grounders to short. But you can't relax if you're Wegman, because that's what Viola did. He got the first 2 outs, and then all heck broke loose with an error. So the fielding has to tighten up here. Here's Gagne. 5-7, and that's a strikeout. So Wegman says, I'm not going to worry about the fielding. I'll take it out of their hands and get the strikeout. 1-2-3 inning for Wegman, and at the end of 2, we are tied at 4 apiece. And now if you will turn your attention to the chat box, we'll see what kind of movie emoji trivia Kathy has come up with for us today. And I will refrain from guessing and give you guys a chance to chime in if you feel like you know the answer, or if you don't know the answer, if you just want to make a guess. What we used to call a swag, a sophisticated wild-ass guess. All right, all kinds of stuff there. This is a movie. I believe she says still a movie. Yeah, it's a movie emoji. Okay, so it is a movie. So there you go. Planet of the Apes. That sounds like a good guess to me, Mark and Ben. I think you both get, and Jeff, everybody's chiming in on Planet of the Apes. So it looks like if I had jelly beans, I'd be giving out a bunch of them, but I don't have any. I can give you an honorary sip of coffee. That would help. But I do believe Planet of the Apes is the correct answer. Wait till Kathy gives us the official word, because it's not official until she tells us, but I think unofficially that's the correct answer. And it is. Everybody, just like that group from the 70s, Hot Chocolate, everyone's a winner. If you remember that song. All right. Planet of the Apes. What's that line go? Those damn dirty apes or something like that? I remember the first one. They had like Beneath the Planet of the Apes, Return to the Planet. They had all these different branch offs. But to me, the first one was the classic. So Statue of Liberty was in the sand, covered up, because they thought they were on some foreign planet when they left the space, but when they came back, it was actually the Earth futurized. That's what the Statue of Liberty had to do with that. Because there's an iconic scene where they're going along the beach, and they see the Statue of Liberty is almost completely covered in sand, but there's the upper half is still showing. And it's an iconic, it's the very end of the movie. It's a very iconic thing where he realizes after all this time, he was not on a foreign planet. He's actually on Earth. He's actually, his spaceship actually put them back on Earth, but somehow it went to a time warp or something. And it got to the future, and the apes had taken over the planet. So that was the theory behind. I'm not a Planet of the Apes expert by any means, but I think that's kind of the gist of it. All right, so here is Bill Schroeder. 4-9, and that's going to be a base on balls to Schroeder. And for Viola, that is walk number 3. Walked Deer twice, and now walks Schroeder. So here's Dale Swain. Oh, okay. I didn't know that midlife. Like I said, I remember the first one, but that's about all I can remember off the top of my head. I remember, I think Roddy McDowell played one of the characters, and that's about all, and Charlton Heston. That's about the only 2 I can remember off the top of my head. All right, here is Swain. 6'11", switcher to batting right-handed. That's ground ball pitcher X. That's Viola. He is a 3-E-17. 3-20. That's a chance for a double play right there. In fact, it should be a double play unless that E17 kicks in, but that's a 4. That's an interesting number for an error check. But the 20 is definitely a G1, but the E17, there's a 3 there, but no 4. So it will be a double play. It's going to go 1 to 4 to 3. Double play. Big double play turn there by Viola to race the base runners. 1-4-3 if you're scoring at home, and you know you should be. All right, so now Juan Castillo, second baseman. 6-6, switch hitter batting right-handed. That's a fly to left, and that's going to end the inning. So that double play kind of took the wind out of the Brewers' sails on that one. Go to the bottom of the third, still tied at 4. And that will send up Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know why the @ signs are on there. I don't get it. There's no setting that I put in there that causes anything because I don't know. I'm not technically proficient enough to know even how to do that if I wanted to. So I have no idea why it's doing that. But it's YouTube. That's all I'll say about that. I think it kind of explains it all. Just say it's YouTube and leave it at that. All right, here's Kirby Puckett, 6-11 against Wegman, and that's a ballpark blast for Puckett, 1-11, but that's a 20. So bad break for Puckett, good break for Wegman as he escapes potential home run there. Puckett is out. Here's Herbeck. Speaking of home runs, he had a 2-run homer his first time up. It's a 3-7. This time he'll draw the base on balls. And for Wegman, that is his second walk of the ball game. All right, so here is Gary Gaetti. Herbeck not going to go anywhere, not going to be held. Gary Gaetti, 6-7, and that is a ground ball second base X, potential double play if they can turn it. Castillo's a 3E21, but the double die is a 6. He says not so fast as the double die. Might just be a fielder's choice. Actually, 3 and a 6 is actually going to be just only play is going to be to first. They weren't holding the runner, so the pound sign's irrelevant. That's a 6, and he is an E21. There's no 6 there, but it will be a runner advance play on the ground ball to second. Herbeck will take second base on the ground out by Gaetti. But now there are 2 outs, and it's a clutch situation for Roy Smalley, who homered his first time up. Roy Smalley. 4-8, switch hitter batting left, and that's trouble for Wegman. 1-3 is a double, 4-20 is a single, but it's 2 stars, and that'll even get the slow-running Herbeck home. And the Minnesota Twins have reclaimed the lead 5-4. 5-4 ball game. Roy Smalley showing up big, 2-run homer, and now an RBI single. He's driven in 3 of the 5 runs. Here's Bernansky. 5-10, and that's going to be a ballpark single check, 1-13, and that's going to fit right on the number. Keeps the inning going. First and second, 2 down. For Lombardozzi, we're trying to get to that emoji trivia, but the inning won't end for some reason. Here's Lombardozzi. It's a 1-4, and that's a walk. That'll keep the inning going and load the bases. For Tim Laudner, third walk issued by Wegman. The only saving grace is he does get to the number 9 hitter, Tim Laudner, who's not very good, but is still dangerous. He's got some ballpark blast on his card. That column 3, he's got a bunch of home runs here, so could be Grand Salami City if he finds that column 3. And he did. 3-9, and he just missed it. Look at that. He just missed a grand slam by 1 number. 3-10 would have been a grand slam. 3-9 is a ground ball to short. It's just that when Stratomatic is just that close. But for Wegman, he is breathing a sigh of relief. He escaped a potential grand salami that would have knocked him out of the game. As it is, he gives up just the 1 run and keeps his team in the game. We go to the 4th. It is Minnesota 5 and Milwaukee 4. And now Kathy has another movie trivia emoji, or movie emoji trivia, I guess is a proper way to say it. So if you want to check that out and see if you can guess that one. The first one was pretty easy, I thought, the Planet of the Apes. Not sure this one will be this easy. We'll see. That's something I don't know. And if someone knows anything about YouTube and can tell me if there's a setting I can check on my YouTube settings as to why it's creating the @ sign and the names the way they are, let me know and I'll fix it. But I don't know. I haven't gone in and done anything. YouTube's done it on my behalf without me knowing about it. So I don't know how it's done. But in the meantime, we will just wait on the trivia question and get your thinking caps on. Kathy will try to stump us without hints. And while we wait for that trivia question, just a programming update. Sometimes there is no game tonight in the Demolition League because of high school football, but I will probably play one this afternoon. All right, there is the trivia question. If you want to give it a go. Let's see what we got here. We got a plane, and we got snakes on a plane. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. I was trying to let everybody else guess, but I'm thinking snakes on a plane. It's the first thing I thought of, but I kind of spurred that out, but didn't mean to. But I think you got it right, Jeremiah. But again, we will wait for the official answer and confirmation. I want to say Samuel Jackson was in that movie. I never saw it, but I saw some of the clips. I think Samuel Jackson was in that movie. All right. So you got it, Jeremiah. Good deal. Thank you for that, Kathy. We start at the top of the. Never heard that movie. The only thing I know about it is I believe Samuel L. Jackson was in the movie. That's all I know about it. I never saw it. It's probably, I don't know how, it's probably, I don't think it did very well in the theaters or whatever, but it's one of those movies they probably show on one of the cable channels on a Saturday afternoon when nothing else is going on that people can. Sure, Ben. We'll be happy to have a trivia question top of the fifth. All right, so right now we're at the top of the fourth. Mike Felder, this game is dragging along because of all these runs. Here's Felder, 3-5, and that's a ground ball to short, one away. It's a good thing I have nowhere to go after this directly because if I was in a hurry, I'd be in trouble. It's a ground ball to short, one away, and that'll bring up Robin Yount. Whoa, we got a hop and dice. We got to re-roll that again. 6-9, and that's going to be a fly to center. Kirby Puckett puts it away, 2 down. Or Cecil Cooper. Cooper 1 for 2. 4-7, and he's going to draw a base on balls. Keep the inning going. That's the 4th walk issued by Viola. He's uncharacteristically wild in this one. He only walked 66 in 230 innings, but he's already walked 4 in 4 innings here. And here comes Rob Deere, who he has walked twice. That's a 6-3 ballpark single, 1-13, but that's a 17. So he's going to line it to short to end the inning. So the Brewers come away empty-handed. We go to the bottom of the 4th. It's still 5-4 Minnesota. Of course, the Blue Jays and the Yankees are definitely pulling for the Twins in this one. Top of the order, and Dan Gladden due up. Two 6. That's a ground ball to third, 1 away. Yeah, if somebody could tell me if there's a setting that I have accidentally clicked on or hit in my setup, or in my settings or whatever, and I can change that setting and have it go back to the way it was, please let me know so I can fix it or whatever. Like I said, I didn't do anything on my own. Something, at least not knowingly. 4-4 is a ground ball third base X. That's going to be Molitor. He's a 4E22. 415, he'll get there. E22 and an 11 for third baseman. There's a 12, but no 11. So good play for Molitor. He will handle it. So 2 ground balls to Molitor to start the inning. And that'll bring up the Union Gap, Kirby Puckett. He's 0 for 2. All this hitting in Kirby Puckett's 0 for 2. 4-7. Ground ball shortstop X. We are looking at Swain. 3E25 for Swain. A 3 and an E25. And that's a 3 and a 5. That's interesting. 3 and a 5 is going to be a G3. He'll just barely get to it. That's a 12, and he is an E25. So E25, there's a 13, but no 12. So he narrowly gets to it and narrowly misses an error. But all in all, it's a 6-3 ground out to end the inning. So at the end of 4 complete, it is still Minnesota 5 and Milwaukee 4. And now Ben says he has a trivia. Travel trivia question. Okay. National highway system for automobiles in 1917. Well, that's going way back. Where's Bill Ivamy when we need him? He's the big guru on these kind of questions. Maybe Jeff knows it. I don't know. But I have no idea. Numbered highway system. I'm sorry. It's not Ohio. First jurisdiction in the world to establish a numbered highway system for automobiles, like Interstate 95, that kind of thing, I guess is what you're talking about. First jurisdiction in the world. So doesn't say state, it says first jurisdiction. So I'm not even sure what that incorporates, but I think you might have us stumped here, Ben. I'm not sure. Would be a state system. Okay. Wow. 1917. I'll throw it a wild guess and say New York, although I know it's probably not right. The Tribe fan is guessing not New York or Arizona. Well, we got 50 states. We knocked off 3 of them, so just go down the list. So I don't know. I'm thinking East Coast, but who knows? State with maybe Well, I don't think it'd be Texas. Maybe it sounds like something Florida would do. Jeremiah, I guess I read your mind, Jeremiah. Not Florida either. Boy, we're just in bad shape. And I guess if he gives us a hint, it would probably give it away. If he gave us any kind of hint at all, it would probably give us, unless you could say east or west or middle of the country, maybe. Maybe it's something from the middle of the country. I don't know. You've got a stump, Ben. Today's shield for it is a combination of a triangle and a rectangular oval. That doesn't help me at all on that one. I'm drawing a blank completely now. Just going through all the states, it seems like. So I have no idea. Oh, it's featured in today's game. Well, how about Minnesota? That kind of gave it away, unless it's Wisconsin. Oh, it must be Wisconsin then. I screwed that up. I had a 50-50 shot and still didn't get it right. How bad is that? It is Wisconsin. Okay. Cool deal. Thank you, Ben. That was a tough one. That was a toughie. All right, top of the fifth we go. Paul Molitor, 6-7. Struck him out. Frank Viola with the strikeout. That is his third. One away. And people watch this game later probably like wondering why we're sitting here for 2 minutes trying to figure out a trivia question instead of playing the game. But that's all part of the live stream. So if you catch it later, you just have to skip through those or whatever. Here's Pechora. 2-12. That's a foul out to Tim Laudner. And that is going to be 2 down for Bill Schroeder. 3-6 for Schroeder. That's a home clean as a baby's ass in honor of Jeff. Right there, 3-6, clean as a baby's ass. Home run, Bill Schroeder. That's his second home run of the replay, 11th RBI. It ties the game at 5. He had 14 home runs and just 250 at-bats, did Schroeder. And this one right here, as we say, clean as a baby's ass right there. 3-6 rather. Schroeder, 14 home runs and just 250 at-bats. So definitely a good slugging percentage there, even though these 87 cards don't show the slugging percentage. You just know it's a good slugging percentage, that's all. So we're tied at 5 apiece here in the 5th. Bill Schroeder, home run number 2, RBI number 11. And that'll bring up Dale Swain. National Mulligan Day. I haven't played golf in years, but I remember using you're supposed to technically, I think by it may not be the golf rules. I don't know the golf rules or golf etiquette on this. But to me, technically, the mulligan should be the first tee where you're not warmed up. That should be your mulligan. But some people play it. You can take the mulligan any tee shot you want, holes 1 through 18. So I guess it's like strat. Play the game the way you want to play it. But when I used to play with my friends, it was always the first tee. Because, if you didn't, especially if we didn't have a chance to go to the driving range, you just get out of your car and head to the first tee and take a couple practice swings. The first time you actually hit the ball, you might not do it so well, so that's your mulligan. But I guess mulligan kind of is a societal term for a do-over in anything, in life even. So here's Swain, 2-8, and that is a fly to center. It's going to end the inning, but the Brewers tie it on the Bill Schroeder home run. And at the end of 4.5, we are tied at 5 apiece. Not getting the pitcher's duel we were thinking of, at least I was thinking of. So here is Kent Herbeck. Speaking of home runs, he hit a home run in the first inning, a big 2-run homer. 6-11, and that's a ballpark blast. He might do it again. 1-11, and that is an 11. That is gone. Kent Herbeck, his second home run of the game. Look at it again. 6-11 is a ballpark blast. And at the Metrodome, 1-11 are home runs, and the double die is an 11. So that is going to be a home run for Kent Herbeck, his second of the game. He does have normal power against lefty. He doesn't hit lefties average-wise very well, but he does hit him for power. So home run for Herbeck, his now 13th home run of the season. And he had 34 real world. 13th homer, 38th run batted in. And that is now 6 runs allowed by Wegman. For some reason, the computer is telling me Wegman is not tired yet. I would think he would be, giving up 6 runs. But either way, tired or no, the Brewers are going to get the bullpen generated. And we'll see who is the most rested. Could be Basio. Yeah, Basio's pretty rested. So Chris Basio is going to be loosening in the Brewer bullpen, right-hander. And he would come in and start the 6th. Even if Wegman finishes this inning, I think we're going to cap him at 5 innings because he's just not very effective. Here's Gary Gaetti, 6'10", and that's a catcher X. That's going to be Schroeder, a 4E3 for the catcher, a 4E3, 4 and a 6, but bases are empty. 4 and a 6 is going to be a pop-up. But that's a 17. That could be trouble. E3 and a 17 doesn't look good. But he escapes. E3 for a catcher, the errors are 16 and 18. The 17 is on an E4 or E2, but not on an E3. So Schroeder will make the catch on the pop-up for 1 away. So Gary Gaetti is out of there, and here's Roy Smalley. 3-4, and that's going to be a ground ball to first. And Pashork will take it to the bag himself, 2 down. But either way, I think this is going to be it for Wegman. Pretty sure we're going to cap him there and bring in Basio to start the 6th. Here's Bernansky. He has walked and singled. 3-3. He'll ground it to Milder at third to end the inning. But the home run from Kent Herbeck, his second of the game, has put the Twins right back in the lead, 6-5 as we head to the 6th. And that's going to be all for Wegman. He's going to go 5 innings, give up 6 hits and 6 runs. Get the full detail from the Strat computer so I can not have to do any math. So we'll go to the Strat computer, and the Strat computer will tell me everything. Because the Strat computer is so wonderful. It's so 1990-ish. And for anybody that missed it on earlier videos, I did find this in one of my old desk drawers. This game, this is copyrighted 1999. 1999. Copyright date. Stratomatic 1999. Get that O-ring out of there. That light off of there so it doesn't get that circle off of there so you can see it better. But there you go. And I know it's kind of hard to see here, but it is. I will take it out. Still in pretty good shape on the bottom. But anyway, CD-ROM version 4.0. CD-ROM version 4.0. 1999 copyright date. So anyway, there you go. And if I had a computer that could run a CD-ROM drive, I could still play this and not miss a beat. It would look just like what I've got right now. So in that aspect, ID Jester is 100% correct. All right, so let's finish the numbers on Wegman. 6 runs allowed, but only 2 of them were earned. So he really caught a bad break with his defense. But one of the defense was his own. That was part of the problem. All 4 of these runs came unearned on his error. So Basio will be the new pitcher for the Brewers when we go to the bottom of the 6th. And Basio has a +1 hold, so that makes him a +2. But Basio will be the one coming on in the bottom of the 6th. Yeah, I have a laptop. I don't have a desktop, Tim, so I really don't know. My old computer, before I got this one a couple of years ago, my old computer that I bought like 10 years ago has a CD-ROM drive, and I guess I could put it in there and install it, but that old computer, if it lasts more than 5 minutes when I turn it on, probably won't do anything. So it's pretty much shot. So here is, because this laptop I got now is about 3 or 4 years old, I think, but it does what I need it to do. So, all right, here's Juan Castillo. 210, and that's a ballpark single check, and it's a 1-16 for, I'm sorry, 1-13 because he's a switch hitter batting right. But the Devil Dies a 3, so it doesn't matter. It can be whatever number it wants. It's going to be a base hit. Base hit for Castillo. Hit parade continues. 10 runs and 13 hits already in this one. Castillo has a chance to get a lead here. 3 through 6, and he would obtain a good lead. He does not, so he will hold. And now we got the top of the order and Mike Felder. Switch hitting left fielder. He is 2 for 3 with a stolen base and 2 runs scored. Can't ask for much more from a leadoff man than that. 1-7. It's a 1-4 single. Devil Die is a 2. It came into play again. Devil Die is really acting up today. I'm going to go back to the white D20. That one game I played with the white D20, it seemed to behave, but now going back to my standard dice colors, it seems to be acting up again. So I may have to take punitive action on this D20 and do something else. So here's robbing you out. That's a 2, chance for balk or pass ball. Looking at a pass ball chance on Laudner, his pass ball rating is a 6. No pass ball, so Yount will swing away. 5-4, and that's a line out to short, right to Gagne. You hit it hard, but right to Gagne. And there's one away. And that will send up Cecil Cooper. Yep, I do have the old split deck cards of 1 through 20. I could definitely do that. That would take a little bit more time, though. All right, here is Cecil Cooper, 1-6, and that's a fly to center. He does get a hit in the clutch, but there's only one out. If there were 2 outs, this would turn into a hit. But since there's only 1 out, the fly to center will stand. Puckett will make the catch, and there's 2 away. That brings up Rob Deere. He has walked twice and lined to short. There is a trivia question coming from emoji trivia question coming at the top of the 7th from Kathy. 3-7 against the lefty. That's a walk. We've got to get there first. This game is just dragging along at a snail's pace. That's another walk for Viola, and that is his 5th walk. He's only struck out 3, but he's walked 5, and now the bases are loaded again for Paul Mahler. Now the Twins bullpen is loosening. Let's see who is most rested for the Twins. It could be George Frazier, but let's take a look here and see who they might want to turn to. Keith Atherton is a possibility. George Frazier, Keith Atherton, they're both possibilities here. Joe Klink, a lefty, but I think they're looking more right-handers at this point. So it looks like Keith Atherton loosening in the bullpen for Minnesota. In case Viola should run into trouble, Keith Atherton would be coming on. And Atherton was 7-5 with a 4.54 ERA real world. But right now, bases loaded, 2 outs for Paul Molitor, clutch situation. And Molitor in the clutch has that 1 hit that he gets on 1-4. Everything else is neutralized. 1-5. Oh, he just missed it. But 1-5 still good for him. A 1's a homer and 2-20 is a double. So a big double here for Paul Molitor. This will be it for Viola. He will have to leave the game as he is going to give up 2 more runs and make it 7 runs for the Brewers in this one. Deere runs at a 12. Not being held as a 13, 2 outs as a 15, but the double is assumed to go to center field. And that's Puckett, who's a -4. They still may send him either way, just to try to get that run home. So again, the 12, but not being held as a 13, 2 outs as a 15, -4 is an 11. 1-11, he scores. And he does, and Molitor will take 3rd on the throw. So it's a base-clearing double for Paul Molitor, and now 8 runs are in the inning, and that's going to be it for Mr. Frankie V. He is just getting blasted. A base-clearing double. And Mr. V, and the computer is telling me that Mr. V is not tired. I don't buy that for 1 minute. 7 runs, and you're not tired? I would think you'd be tired, but either way you go, it's going to be it for Viola. His day is done. And Keith Atherton will be coming on, the right-hander. Keith Atherton, and we can't get the numbers fully on Viola yet because he is responsible for Molitor at 3rd base with 2 outs. Atherton's a 0 hold, so he's a 0 here. All right, so his job is to get Jim Paciorek, but we'll bring in Atherton and get his numbers on the replay. You already saw his numbers on Real World. So on the replay, Keith Atherton checks in. 1 and 3 with 2 saves, a 5.74 earned run average, 27 innings pitched, 25 hits, 7 walks, and 23 strikeouts. Milder at third, 2 down. Brewers leading 7-6. That's a 3-10 for Paciorek, and that's going to be a fly to left to end the inning. So the inning is over, and now we can go ahead and put in the final numbers on Viola, as he will pitch 5 2/3 innings, giving up 9 hits and 7 runs. I believe, well, let's see how many were earned. I'm not going to do the math. I'll let the computer do the math. I mean, something didn't go right on my computer, so let me fix this real quick. Something didn't go right here. Somehow the double was credited to Deere, and I don't know why. I guess I didn't put the walk in for Deere. That was the problem. All right. So let's go back here. I gave Cooper a walk instead of Deere the walk. That's what the problem was. I didn't put the fly to center for Cooper. That's what happened. Oh, wait a minute. You know why? No, that's all right, because it wasn't 2 outs yet. You're right. All right, I'm going to have to backtrack on this, because let me go to the game summary here, because something didn't get put in right on the computer, and it's throwing me off. So let's see. Luckily, it has a play-by-play account, and it has an undo button. All right, so we start out Swain. Well, first of all, it had Swain batting. That's what really threw everything off. It's out of order. So I'm just going to fix all this later. I'm not going to tie up you guys' time with that right now. So I would have to do it manually. I have to do the math manually. Not a good thing, but I'll have to do it. So all 3 of these runs are unearned. So out of the 7 runs, 4 are going to be earned. He walks a total of 5 and strikes out only 3. And he's on the hook for the loss. He would drop to 5 and 3 on the season. And Chris Bosio, all of a sudden, check that, Bill Wegman, all of a sudden, now Bill Wegman is in line to get the win. He would improve to 5 and 1 because these runs are credited to him. And now Bosio's in the game, and it's his job to keep the Brewers in the lead. They lead it by the score of 7-6. So Lombardozzi will lead off here in the bottom of the 6th. We get a 6-11, and that's a ground ball to first base X. We are looking at Paciorek. He's a 4.25. 4-18, he'll get to that. E25, and that's a 9. E25, and there's a 9 right there, so Paciorek just booted it. Paciorek and E3, now for each first baseman has committed an error. This one's on Paciorek. Lombardozzi will reach. And now here is Tim Laudner. Can't blame that one on Bosio. That play should have been made. 6-5, and that is this one you can blame on Bosio. 1-4 is a home run. That's a 12. It would be a double for Tim Laudner. Double for Laudner. The double is assumed to go to center, which Yount is a +2 arm, but with nobody out, man, it's a 1-16. But the way the double die has been working, we're going to hold him up at third base. So second and third, nobody out. Tying run is at third. Go-ahead runs at second for Dan Gladden. Dan Gladden. Or as Chris Berman used to call him, Dan Mad from Gladden. All right. So Gladden is up. Infield is back. They need outs desperately. 6-7. And that's going to be a ground ball, second base X. Second baseman is Castillo. He's a 3-E21. Remember, the infield is back. 3-E21, 3 and a 7. 3 and a 7. And it's a good thing they were back, because had the infield been in, this would have turned into a 2-run single. But by playing back, they sacrifice the run but get the out, unless there's an error again. That's an E13. E13, and Castillo's a 21 at second base. But Castillo boots it on top of that. They can't win for losing, I'm telling you. E21 and a 13. It's right here smack dab in the middle. He is an E21, so they don't get anybody. It'll be an E4. Second error of the inning. Third of the game on the Brewers. Talk about a sloppy game. We got it. Maybe it's because it's a Friday and they're looking forward to the weekend. I don't know, but they're having a rough time. Runners at the corners, and Dan Gladden's going to be looking to get a lead. We are tied at 7, but the Twins are looking for more. Gladden needs a 4, 5, or 6 to get the lead. He does not get it, so he will hold. And here's Greg Gagne. And now with runners at the corners, they're trying to turn a double play if they can. 4, 8, and that's a single to center, so they won't turn to any kind of double play. It's just a single to center. And let's see if, Laudner was already at third, so he will score. And Gladden, with the single to center, he could try to get to third. He was being held, makes him a 16. But the +2 arm of Yount will make it an 18. And if they throw through, Gagne's going to take second base. So Gladden will take third without a throw as the Brewers try to keep the double play in order. They'll hold Gagne on, but with Puckett and Herbeck coming up, they're not going to try to run themselves out of an inning. 2 runs in the inning, and the Twins lead it 8-7. Infield still looking for that double play. They desperately in need of outs. 3-7 for Kirby, and he struck him out. That's a big strikeout there. Now a double play would get you out of the inning. But Herbeck is coming up, and they will not let him face a right-hander. That'll be it for Basio. They will go to a lefty out of the bullpen. And that left-hander will be, let's see who the left-hander is going to be. I think it's going to be John Henry Johnson, but don't quote me on it until I look at the numbers. Yeah, it's going to have to be because Paul Mirabella is no longer on the team right now. He's in the minors or injured. So it's either John Henry Johnson or it's the closer Plesac, and I don't think they want to go that route. So they're going to bring in John Henry Johnson. He's not a very good pitcher, but it will make Herbeck bat against a lefty, which is his detriment. He really has a hard time hitting lefties. So we look at the numbers for Basio. He's going to pitch a third of an inning, but his defense really let him down. Let's see here. This run is earned. This one is not. So far, 2 runs, 1 earned, but these 2 are his responsibility. He did get a strikeout. He gave up 2 hits. Can't put the runs in there yet. But John Henry Johnson, a left-hander, but not a very good left-hander. He was 0-1 with a 9.57 ERA in real world. On the replay, John Henry Johnson is 1-0, but has got a 14.04 earned run average. He's in there to face one guy and one guy only. That is Kent Herbeck, and he will be out after that, and the Brewers will go to a right-hander coming in next, and that will be Chuck Krim. So Chuck Krim will come on after John Henry Johnson pitches to Herbeck. This is a one-shot deal right here for John Henry Johnson. He gets 1 shot. That's a lefty on lefty against Herbeck. Runners at the corners, 1 out. A double play will get them out of the inning. And he's got some ground ball A's on his card. 1-4. And that's a pitcher ground ball A right there. It's going to go 1-6-3, and John Henry Johnson does his job. He induces the double play and gets him out of the rest of the inning. And it gets Basio out 2 runs and 1 earned. But it is now 8-7. I'm sorry, it's 8-8 now. What am I talking about? It's 8-8, if I'm reading this correctly. Did I get all my runs correctly? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. So it is 8-8. I was thinking they had taken the lead, but it is 8-8 after 6 innings. It's just a wild game that I don't even know what's going on anymore, and my computer screwed up, so I can't even use that anymore. So I'm flying kind of off the cuff here, but I do believe that Kathy, going way back, took a while to get here, but I do believe Kathy has an emoji trivia question for the top of the seventh. It just took so long to get there, almost forgot about it. But if Kathy is ready for the trivia, we can stand by in the chat and see if we can figure this one out. We've had, I believe, we've had we've had Planet of the Apes and Snakes on a Plane, and now here's another plane involved on this one. But boy, let's see what we got here. Coming to America? That's a good guess, Jeremiah. That's a good guess. Home Alone's another guess. I have no clue. But Coming to America with that crown there kind of makes me think of the king that visited America, where Eddie Murphy, well, I guess, was the king or whatever. But I'm thinking that Jeremiah probably got it right. And he did. Kathy says, confirms the frog got it right. So there we go. Good job, Jeremiah. You're on the ball today with these trivia questions. All right, so it's 8-8 game after 6 innings. It's really some stuff here. Let's see, 17. We got 16 runs and 17 hits in 6 innings. Plus, we have 4 errors. So talk about a comedy of errors. What do you want to call it? I don't know. But here's Bill Schroeder. He homered his last time up. 3-9, and this time he'll draw the base on balls to start the inning. Not what Atherton would want, I am sure. Here's Dale Swain. 3-9 for Swain is a 1-10 single. That's a 9. Devil die, doing his normal devil die things with the base hit. And that'll bring up Castillo with nobody out and 2 on. Castillo is an A bunter, so they're going to have him bunt. Will the corners be in? No, they're not. Corners are back. He stays an A bunter. Going to catch him off guard. And the way the pitching's going, they'll gladly accept the bunt because they need outs in the worst way. So Castillo now. Make sure there's not a double. There's not anything going on there. 5 means it is going to the first baseman Herbeck, and he just needs to avoid 10 or avoid 11 or 12 basically. That's a 7. It's a good bunt. So sacrifice bunt. Herbeck. We'll just tag him coming up the line. 3 unassisted, and the runners move up 90 feet. And now the go-ahead runs are in scoring position for Mike Felder. Infield for the Brewers, for the Twins rather, is in. They're trying to cut off this run at second and third with 1 out. 4-6, switch hitter batting left, and that's a walk. It's going to load the bases. So now the bases are loaded with 1 out, and a double play will get him out of the inning. So the defense has shifted to a double play position against Robin Yount. Bases loaded, 1 out. 6-12, and that's a ballpark blast from Keith Atherton. That's an 11. That's an 11. It is a grand salami for Robin Yount. The double die fit again right on the number. Look at it again. 6-12, ballpark blast. He has normal power. That's an 11. That's an 11. A grand salami for Robin Yount. And Mr. Atherton just got removed from this ball game. George Frazier will be coming on, but a grand salami makes it 12-8 in favor of the Brew Crew. And the Twins will now turn to George Frazier out of the bullpen. So we can do the numbers on Atherton now because nobody else is on base. So Atherton's going to go 2/3 of an inning. Got the last out of the previous inning and 1 out this inning. And he's going to give up 2 walks. Those were bugaboos. 2 hits and 4 runs with no strikeouts. Frazier on the replay is a 5-5. I'm sorry, on the real world was 5-5 with a 498 earned run average. On the replay, let's see what he's doing on the replay. Frazier on the replay is 1-0 with a 6.84 earned run average, 26 innings pitched, 30 hits, 18 walks, 31 strikeouts. Or, I'm sorry, 21 strikeouts. And he's got to deal with Cecil Cooper. Base is clear now. Cecil Cooper still only 1 out. 1-6 for Cooper. That's a ground ball to second, 2 away. And here's Rob Deere. Walked 3 times in this game. 3-6, and this time he will strike out to end the inning. So Frazier comes in, gets 2 quick outs to end the inning. But in the meantime, a Robin Yount grand salami and another Abraham Lincoln 4-score inning. And we go to the 7th inning stretch, and I'm going to need to take a stretch break after all of this. And I got to heat my coffee and everything, refresh my coffee and everything else. It's been a while when 12-8 is their score. 11 and 8, it's 19 hits. So we're talking about 20 runs and 19 hits at the 7th inning stretch to go with 4 errors. We can stand more, Kathy, no question about it. But right now, I can't stand to go in with cold coffee. And I've been sitting here for a while with this game going on as long as it has, over an hour. So we will be going to the 7th inning stretch. Take me out to the ball game while I refresh my coffee so you guys can enjoy that. And if you guys have been sitting down for a while, you might need a stretch break. Who knows? This has been a weird game. What a way to end the week. All right, so I'm going to go refresh my coffee. You guys enjoy. Take me out to the ball game. All right, so coffee refreshed, and we're set to try to finish this wild ball game that no one seems to want to win. Can't figure it out. All right, bottom of the 7th we go. John Henry Johnson did his job, and of course now Chuck Krim will be on. Chuck Krim de la Krim. I set his card somewhere, now I can't find it. Oh, I put it in here with the Twins for some reason. So Chuck Krim, in the real world season, 6-8, 3.67 ERA, 130 innings pitched. He was a part-time starter and part-time relief pitcher, kind of a middle reliever that bridged the gap to the closer. In the replay, Krim is 1-1 with a 2.70 ERA and 4 saves, 27 innings pitched, 22 hits, 5 walks, 12 strikeouts. He did have 13 saves. 12 saves, real world. So he is certainly capable. If he pitches well, he's got a relief rating of 3. He could get the save here if he finishes the game and keeps the Twins from scoring 4 runs. All right, here is Gary Gaetti against Krim. 3-10. That is a fly ball to center field. Hauled in by Mr. Yount, and there's one away. Here's Roy Smalley. 4-10, switch hitter batting left-handed is a fly to center field X, so we're back to Yount, but this time it's an X check. is a 2E6. 2 and a 12. He'll make it. Oh, boy, that 18 is going to be murder. 18 is probably going to be an error, most likely. So we'll go to center field. Younts an E6. But the 18 is a 3-base error on Robin Yount. Go figure. 3-base error on Robin Yount. 3-base E8. When you roll the 18, that's just what happens. So not only is the devil die, but the D6s are a little devilish themselves. So here's Bernansky. Well, with a 4-run lead, they're playing the infield back. They need outs. They'll give up the run to get the outs. Here's Bernansky. 4-7, and that's a ground ball second base X. We're looking at Castillo. 3E21. 3 and a 20, he'll get to that. E21 for a second baseman. And a 12. E21 and a 12. I think 13 was an error. It was, but not a 12. So he'll make the play. The 20 is a G1, but I still think that's going to be good with the infield back. Runner at third, infield back is his runner's advance. So it'll be a ground out 4-3. The run will score. It's unearned. Cuts the lead to 12-9, but now there are 2 outs with the bases empty for Lombardozzi. 5-7 is a 1-4 single. That's an 18, so he lines it to short to end the inning. But very few zeros on the line score. 4th inning was an anomaly. Only 1 base runner in the 4th inning, but everything else has been chaos. Spelled with a capital K, like in Get Smart. All right, so here's Frazier. He will start out the top of the 8th. See how long he can last. I mean, Atherton started out well too, but that didn't last long. All right, so here is Paul Molitor. He's 3 for 4 with 2 doubles. 5-6, and this time's a ground ball to Gagne at short. He is a 2E24. 2 and a 12, he'll get to that. E24 and a 10. Usually there aren't many errors on 10s. E24, there is no 10. You got to go all the way on the shortstop for a 10 to be an error. You got to go to E84 to be a 10, so to be an error on the shortstop. So pretty much not going to happen. So Molitor is out of there, 6-3, 1 away, and that's going to send up Jim Paciorek. 5-3, and that's a fly ball right field X. Bernansky's a 2E4. 2 and a 12, he'll get to that. And now we're looking at the E4. So 2 and a 12 is going to be looking at I was in the infield. Let me look at the outfield. Hold on. Let's get the outfield going here. 2 and a 12 is an F2, and that's a 6, and he is an E4. I don't think that'll be a problem. It will not. So Bernansky makes the play, 2 down. George Frazier has retired all 4 he has faced. Here's Schroeder. 4-9, and that's a strikeout. Boy, Frazier's doing really well for himself. And he will continue to pitch the 9th. No reason not to. Finally get a 0 on the board for Milwaukee. But it's still a 12-8 ball game thanks to the grand slam from Robin Yount. And Chuck Creme de la Creme back out. Laudner is your scheduled hitter. And with his home run power, I think they're still going to let him hit. 6-7. It's going to be a single. So he got it off the pitcher card anyway. Base hit. And here's Dan Gladden. Of course, he will not be held as a slow runner. 1-9 for Gladden. That's a walk. And now all of a sudden, Krim running into issues. One thing you don't want to do with a 4-run lead is start putting base runners on. Gagne is your scheduled hitter. They may pinch hit for Gagne. I don't know here. Gagne is 1 for 3 with a sacrifice hit. But man, they could really use a big hit here. So they're going to pinch hit for Gagne. And they will turn to Randy Bird in the hand Bush. And Al What Me Worry Newman will come in and play short. So Twins making a move where they need offense. So Bush, they're going to head for the mountains of Bush. He will pinch hit here in the 8th. And in the 9th, Newman will take over as the shortstop. So Randy Bush. Get the numbers on Bush. Real world, Randy Bush, 253 hitter with 11 home runs in 293 at-bats. So some decent power. On the replay, let's see what Randy Bush is doing on the replay. He is hitting 261 with 2 homers and 12 driven in. So Bush is up against Krim. 1-6, and he strikes out. Boy, big strikeout there for Mr. Krim. And if you're curious what Gagne would have done on a 1-6, he would have grounded it to a double play. So not that would have rolled a 1-6 because, like I say, the butterfly effect would have changed things. But had it been a 1-6 on Gagne, he would have grounded it to a double play. So I guess they'll take the strikeout after all. Here's Kirby Puckett. All these hits, and Kirby Puckett's 0 for 4 with a strikeout. Who would have thunk that? 310, and he's 1-7 to single, 8-20 lines to short. So he lines to short. He is now 0 for 5 in this game, is Kirby Puckett. Amongst all this hitting. And now here comes Herbeck, but Brewers don't have any lefties except for the left-hander closer, Plesac. So they're going to let Krim pitch to Herbeck and take their chances. 2-12, and that's going to be a ground ball to first. That's going to end the inning as Bashork will take it to the bag himself. And Krim looking to close it out in the 9th and get the save. As it's still, we got a 0-0 inning. Go figure that. When's the last time that happened? In this game, it was the 4th inning was the last time that happened. But we're at the top of the 9th, and Kathy has a final emoji trivia. So if you want to pay attention and look at the chat, we can see if we can figure out this particular trivia. We've had Planet of the Apes. We've had Snakes on a Plane. We had Coming to America. Now we have another one. Let's see here. Boy, a lot of emojis on this one. All right. We'll see if anybody gets that. So get the guesses coming in as I sip my coffee. Final cup for the day. You make it a good one. So far, no guesses have come in. May have stumped some people here. It's a kids movie, okay. That's the first hint. It's a kids movie. Not Pee-wee's Big Playhouse or something. I don't think that would be it. Dumbo. We got the elephant there. Not Pee-wee's Big Top. I don't even know if that's the name of the movie or not, but whatever. Don't know if Dumbo is correct or not. We'll have to wait and see. Chuck got it. Dumbo. All right. There you go. Dumbo it is. All right. Thank you, Kathy, for those trivia questions. And now we go to the top of the 9th. Brewers with a 12-9 lead. Frazier to Swain, 1-6 is a strikeout. Boy, Frazier is 3rd strikeout. He has retired all 6 he has faced. Here's Juan Castillo. It's 2-11, and that's going to be a fly to center. 2 down for Mike Felder. Felder's been all over the place. He's singled 3 times and walked, scored 4 runs. Epitome of a good leadoff hitter. 1-5, but this time, boy, he just missed a straight-out triple, but 1-5 with a fly to right. And George Frazier, I'm telling you what, George Frazier, 2 2/3 innings, and he gave up nothing with 3 strikeouts. He has kept his team in the game, giving them every single chance you can have to try to catch up. Anytime, Kathy. You're always welcome to do that. All right, so bottom of the ninth, rather, last chance for the Twins. They trail by 3. As Gene Rayburn used to say on the match game, 3 to tie and 4 to win. So it's Gary Gaetti, Roy Smalley, and Tom Brunansky, your scheduled hitters. Gaetti, 1-4, and that's a ground ball back to Krim, 1 away. Here is Roy Smalley, 2-7, and that is a walk. Not what you want to do when you're up by 3. You don't want to start walking, guys. I would pinch run for Smalley, but his run really doesn't mean anything, so there's no sense in doing that. Here's Brunansky, 6-4, and that is an in-home run chance on Krim. 6-4, an in-home run chance 1-5, but the double die cooperates with Krim this time, and it's just a deep fly to left. 2 down, and here's Lombardozzi. Do they want to let – I don't know if they have a second baseman remaining on the roster because Newman is already playing short off the bench. So I don't think they have anybody to play second base. I'll check their other players, but I don't think there's anybody ready to play second base still on the roster. So I think they're going to – well, technically they could move Smalley from DH to short and move Newman from short to second. So they will pinch hit for Lombardozzi with Gene Larkin. Gene Larkin, 266 hitter, switch hitter. So Gene Larkin will hit for Lombardozzi to see if he can keep the ball game going. Gene Larkin. Krim to Larkin, 2 out. That's a 2, chance for a balk or pass ball. That's a chance for a balk on Krim. So I got to go to the computer and get his balk rating. Chuck Krim's balk rating. Where are you? There you are. Chuck Krim, his wild pitch is a 3 and his balk's a 3. Double threes there for Krim. So see if we get a balk. We do not. So he will pitch to Larkin. 1-8, and it's a ground ball to short, and that's going to do it. Ball game is over. The Twins fall to the Brewers by the score of 12-9. Krim will get the save. The win will go to, let's see who gets the win. I believe it's John Henry Johnson that gets the win because of these 4 runs. So he gets credited with the 4 runs, just John Henry Johnson, so he gets the win. And, of course, Atherton will take the loss. Krim is going to go 3 innings. You could make a case to give Krim the win. Official score kind of has that flexibility, I guess. Let's see. For Krim, 3 innings. He gave up 1 run, which was unearned. So out of the 9 runs the Twins got, only 3 of them were earned. Go figure that. Talk about a messy game. Messy score sheet, messy game, messy everything. Let's see, just 1 hit he allowed. He did walk 2, and he struck out 1. So if we get the final line score for the Brewers, 12 runs, 11 hits, and let's see how many errors the Brewers had. They had at least 3 I know of, maybe 4. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. So they had 4 errors for the Brewers, rather. Twins, how many errors they have? They had a Herbeck error here. I thought there was another error somewhere else. Maybe there wasn't. Maybe just the 1 error. Looks like it's just the 1 error on the Twins. And they get 9 hits to go with the 9 runs. So there's your line score. 12, 11, and 4 for Milwaukee. 9, 9, and 1 for the Twins. Twins drop to 23 and 22. Milwaukee improves to 27 and 14. And they are firmly in a 3-way tie with the Yankees and the Blue Jays after this May 27th date. As we head to May 28th, and that'll be starting on Monday morning. We'll be back on May 28th, Monday morning. There are 5 games scheduled for May 28th. So we're going to play those, all of them, Monday through Friday. The only teams not scheduled to play are Detroit and Texas. They are off on the 28th. So it'll be everything else, and again, it'll be east to west. So we're going to start in Baltimore. It'll be the California. They will start on Monday morning as we start the May 28th schedule. It'll be game number 308 from Memorial Stadium, and that'll be the first game on Monday morning. Not sure if I do play a Demolition League game later today, I'm going to need some rest to recover to get over this game. But I might come back this afternoon and do a Demolition game since I'm not going to be home tonight to play one. Might do it this afternoon. Or if I don't do that, I might do a doubleheader on Saturday. It's hard to say. Depends on how I'm feeling and what's going on. So I do appreciate everybody who stayed with me through all this fiasco. I will now need to go ahead and correct what I did on the computer and put this game in the computer officially so that it's correct and all the stats get updated appropriately. So I will be doing that once I sign off. I'll go back and find out where I made my mistake, backtrack, and then re-enter the rest of the game in the computer. So all the stats will be accumulated and checked in. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So again, if I had a CD-ROM drive, I'd put this sucker right in here and play it, and I wouldn't miss a beat. I'm telling you. I don't even know what version they're on right now. This is version 4.0 from 1999. So that tells you that was my first experience with Stratomatic was the computer game. It was not the cards and dice. It was a computer game in 1999. 99, 2000, somewhere in that neighborhood was my first experience with that. So anyway, I hope you all have a great Friday, whatever you got planned. The weekend is coming up. Be safe out there. But until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.